esperado, iniciou-se o Campeonato Nacional de Velocidade em motos no circuito Vasco Sameiro, em Braga. Enfim, pondo de parte o troféu CBR Honda Castrol, onde tem muitos participantes, as restantes classes não tiveram muitos pilotos participantes, o que para início de época não é muito animador, mas vamos ter que aguardar por o que falta do campeonato para ver se comparecem mais pilotos nas próximas corridas do Campeonato Nacional de Velocidade. A primeira de que já estamos a ver imagens, da categoria 125 produção, que tinha normalmente mais de 30 pilotos à partida, desta vez ficou-se pelos 19, um número bastante reduzido, se tivermos em conta o número que dissemos anteriormente. Em termos competitivos, Braulio Pereira e Pedro Ribeiro lutaram do princípio até ao fim, vencendo Braulio, terminando Pedro Ribeiro a pouco mais de 3 segundos do vencedor. Em terceiro, Emanuel Carvalho, seguido por Andrés Fernandes. O pódio com os 3 primeiros, Braulio Pereira, Pedro Ribeiro e Emanuel Carvalho. A categoria 125 Grande Prémio também não teve muitos pilotos presentes, também como não acontece há mais de um ano, pois não compareceram mais de 19 na grelha da primeira corrida do Campeonato Nacional. Rui Simões, que estamos a ver com o número 1, foi efetivamente o piloto a bater, já que nos treinos obteve a volta mais rápida e na corrida foi para a frente na primeira volta, posição que nunca mais largou, vencendo com bastante à vontade, com mais de 11 segundos em relação ao segundo classificado, o Nuno Oliveira, seguido por José Leite. Há, entretanto, logo atrás, uma luta bastante interessante entre Paulo Henriques, Luís Margarido, João Rodrigues e Antero Cabanelas, que terminaram por esta ordem até à 7ª posição, mas que, como disse, muito perto uns dos outros. O pódio com Rui Simões, Nuno Oliveira e José Leite.
Nas motas não depende só do piloto, nem depende só da moto, por isso é a primeira corrida, posso ter algum azar e isso não quer dizer nada. Vou lutar até ao fim, vou fazer por ganhar todas.
Um êxito total é o que se pode dizer da corrida do troféu Honda Castrol, o troféu CBR monomarca, que uma vez mais fez participar muitos concorrentes na primeira prova do troféu. Foram muitos e, do modo geral, bastante rápidos, como foi o caso do vencedor Luís Teixeira, do segundo classificado José Pinto, que foi primeiro durante as 13 primeiras voltas, e do terceiro classificado, o campeão nacional das 125 produção do ano passado, o Luís Rodrigues. José Pinto, como disse, andou na frente nas 13 primeiras voltas, depois o Luís Teixeira, que se foi aproximando com o desenrolar da corrida, ultrapassou para nunca mais largar o primeiro lugar com que terminou. Deste modo, o José Pinto foi o segundo, a pouco mais de 6 segundos do vencedor. O terceiro, como disse, foi o Luís Rodrigues, seguido por João Fontainhas e por o espanhol Pablo Antel. Corrida bastante empolgante e bastante interessante para si, teve que andar bastante para conseguir chegar ao primeiro lugar. Como é que pensa que vai ser este troféu?
Vai ser muito competitivo, acima de tudo, há muitos bons pilotos e vai ser muito competitivo, vai ser difícil ganhar o troféu, pelo que vi dos restantes pilotos, não é?
Tendo em conta o fraco número de participantes nas categorias principais, a de Superbikes e Superprodução, estas duas, aliás, como já era esperado, correram em conjunto para, deste modo, darem uma certa cor e vivacidade às corridas. Vimos já os principais pilotos da categoria de Superbikes, o Telmo Pereira, o Alexandre Laranjeira. Estamos agora a ver o Rui Reigoto, o Eduardo Paula, o Rui Vieira e vamos ver também o Vasco Salgado, pilotos estes de fábrica e que tripulam as motos da categoria de superprodução. O início da primeira manga e, como era de esperar, os 2 pilotos da Suzuki da categoria de Superbikes foram para a frente, posição que nunca mais largaram até a final, embora e no início o Pedro Batista com uma Kawasaki, lembramos que o piloto o ano passado tripulava as Hondas RC45, este ano passou-se para a Kawasaki, ele aqui vai com o número 10, o Pedro Batista, mas não foi nada feliz nesta primeira manga, porque uma queda obrigou o piloto a abandonar a corrida e deu um trabalhão incrível aos seus assistentes para conseguirem pôr a moto boa para a segunda manga. Estamos a ver também com uma Kawasaki o Rui Reigoto, e nunca será demais referir que se trata de um piloto que em tempos praticou motocross e aqui na velocidade já o ano passado demonstrou no troféu Honda CBR que era muito rápido. Telmo Pereira, ele aqui vai a caminho da vitória, na segunda posição o Alexandre Laranjeira com o número 2, portanto vai ser muito difícil baterem estes 2 pilotos da Suzuki, porque são efetivamente os mais rápidos e aqueles que melhor material têm. Estamos a ver com o número 19, também o piloto da Suzuki, o Vasco Salgado, e o final da primeira manga com uma vitória fácil por parte de Telmo Pereira, seguido por Alexandre Laranjeira e Diamantino Santos. Em termos de superprodução, Rui Reigoto venceu, o segundo foi Vasco Salgado e o terceiro Eduardo Paula. A segunda manga foi em tudo diferente da primeira, na medida em que Alexandre Laranjeira deu muita luta ao vencedor Telmo Pereira, porque terminou a 132 centésimos de segundo, o que é muito pouco. Em termos de superprodução, Rui Reigoto voltou a vencer, seguido por Rui Vieira e por Eduardo Paula. Um colega da informação, o Mário Figueiras, que se estreou nestas andanças, e o final com a vitória de Telmo Pereira.
Uma corrida bonita, onde tive grandes concorrentes opositores para o primeiro lugar. Na primeira manga, aliás, as duas mangas correram bem. Acho que foi uma corrida com muito débito à Kawasaki Mobile, foram eles que me trouxeram.
O pódio da superprodução com Rui Reigoto, Rui Vieira e Eduardo Paula. São poucos concorrentes, mesmo tendo em conta a nova categoria de superprodução. Você pensa que este campeonato vai ser animado?
Eu acho que sim, porque em todas as corridas acaba por haver sempre um grupo que domina. Não é por, às vezes, as motos serem mais iguais ou não iguais que acaba por haver mais. Isto sempre foi assim, já no troféu da Honda é a mesma coisa e por isso vai ser sempre assim, penso eu.
O pódio das Superbikes da segunda...
In fact, it's Eddie Lawson. But we won't hold that against them. Superbikes is where it's at today. And in the Superbike Championship so far, it's been a terrific battle between, well, mainly Spaniards at the top, but Bernard Hengeli, former Grand Prix runner, is in there too. First row of the grid in pole position, Ruben Zaus. But a number of names to watch out for. Oscar Sainz, he's one of them. Eustaquio Gaviria, he's another one. And David Vasquez, another man to look out for. Front row of the grid is Zaus, David Vasquez, Eustaquio Gaviria and Bernard Hengeli. Second row, Oscar Sainz, Telmo Pereira, Alain Chauderet and Jan Olav Noteng. Round 3, first 2 rounds won by, let me have a look, Gaviria, Eustaquio Gaviria and David Vasquez. The lights are on red, they're about to go green. They switch to green for 26 laps, charging into that first right-hander. Oh, 21 is Bernard Hengeli, he got a good start, so did too Eustaquio Gaviria. But Hengeli got a cracker, and so did David Vasquez. So that's how they stand at the end of the 2 rounds. The first 2 rounds, nobody dominated as Jorge Martinez has, for example, in the 125cc category. But Gaviria, number 2, Hengeli, 21, Vasquez, 5, Ruben Zaus is 10. But it's number 2, Eustaquio Gaviria, one of the 2 brothers. The Eustaquio, oh, there is the lap record in Emirati, the holder of the lap record, and in fact, well, Ruben Zaus was outside that lap record in qualifying, but that won't stop him trying to better it during the race. 21 is Bernard Hengeli from Switzerland on his RC45 Honda. The very different sound of 4-stroke racing, which is coming very much to the fore these days. The World Superbike Championship is providing some terrific racing, and that's the preferred top class for the European Open Championship that we're witnessing here at Albacete in round 3, and the scrap already developing between 2, Eustaquio Gaviria, and going up the inside, oh dear, and running wide. How did he stay on the track there? David Vasquez, number 5, overcooked it on the brakes. Just looking at the rear wheel leaving the ground there, and he goes in absolutely sideways. He must have been convinced he was off to sample the delights of the gravel track then, but he stayed on the track. God, but it was a very close run thing. Eustaquio Gaviria, number 2, aboard his Honda. David Vasquez on the number 5 machine. rides for Ducati. It's basically a Ducati versus Honda battle here in this championship at the moment. A few Suzukis sprinkled in there, a couple of Kawasaki's. Good manufacturer support. These bikes, of course, based on road bikes. There we are, Eustachio Gaviria, the race leader in the third round of the European Open Superbike Championship. Through the right and left-handed flick there. 5, the Ducati of David Vasquez, but as they cross the line, it's Gaviria who leads. Vasquez in second place. In third spot, Oscar Sainz on his Ducati. So a Honda leads 2 Ducatis, then another Honda, Bernard Hengeli. But out front for the time being, it's Eustachio Gaviria. Oscar Sainz, number 10, the man who qualified on the second row of the grid, had 1 or 2 difficulties in qualification, but it was very close. He was a second, just over a second behind the pole position man. Good scrap there going on for second place between Oscar Sainz and David Vasquez. Hidalgo Gaviria, the second of the 2 Gaviria brothers, champion in the what was then the Ducatis Open Championship last year. Hence carrying number 1, Hidalgo Gaviria, aboard his Mobil-sponsored Honda. But he's got some work to do if he's to catch up with the race leaders. It's still Eustachio Gaviria out front, but I fancy that David Vasquez is closing on him, getting a little bit closer. Of course, that early race incident there, of course, these things are full of fuel, a bit heavier to stop. Oscar Sainz, a puff of smoke there as Eustachio Gaviria runs wild and is 6 in second place. Oscar Sainz has got the better of Vasquez. Hengeli in 4th position, and a great scrap for 5th place with 5 riders there fighting it out at the front. It's Hidalgo Gaviria. Hidalgo Gaviria and Telmo Pereira from Portugal. Oh, great battle. Oh, and there, has he just gone out? I thought that there was a problem. Oh, and there is a faller. That is the race leader. The race leader goes down, a classic high side. Catapulted up into the air, Eustachio Gaviria, and he'll be feeling sore after that. I don't think it's anything too seriously, but that sort of accident tends just to knock the breath out of you. And that looks like is what's happened here. You see the rear tyre gives way, and then all of a sudden it grips, flicks back, flicks him off. And he was lucky not to get tangled up with the motorcycle then. Well, that's the end of the road for Eustachio Gaviria, the race leader. Well, he's still lying at the trackside. I suspect more winded than anything else. They're signalling for some assistance at the trackside, trying to remove him, obviously, from the danger area. Actually carrying him out of the way. Meanwhile, the race rages on. Oscar Sainz and number 5, David Vasquez, have 15 laps remaining. 26 laps, I beg your pardon, the race distance for the Superbikes. Well, Eustachio Gaviria must be absolutely kicking himself there, but it's so easily done. These bikes on a knife edge. Once the rear tyre breaks away, you've just got to pray that you can keep the power on and hold it. There's another faller there. Not quite identify that rider from this distance. 13 laps now to go, and still the battle rages on between Oscar Sainz and David Vasquez. They're coming up behind the back marker. That's Jose Luis Martin, another Spanish rider on a Suzuki. But it's the two Ducatis, Sainz and Vasquez. Vasquez will certainly be keen not to overdo things too early in the race. If he's there in the closing stages, then he should be in a position to make a move. 21 Bernard Hengeli in third spot. Bernard Hengeli, former Grand Prix competitor in the 500cc class. Now moving into the Superbike category. Bernard Hengeli, 35 years of age. Hengeli, so he's been around an awful long time. Been Swiss 250 champion, so he's been 250, 500, and now Superbike racing. Still, that scrap goes on for the lead between Oscar Sainz on the Checo Racing Ducati. Oh, and up the inside goes Vasquez. Again, oh, absolutely superb manoeuvre. Perfectly executed. Nipped out of the slipstream, got him under the braking. Despite the fact that he nearly came to grief there in the early stages of the race. And what a great scrap. And now Oscar Sainz has to battle his way back. Just look at that rear wheel. Going light, losing all its grip, all the weight on the front, but that's enabled David Vasquez to go through and take the lead. Oscar Sainz isn't done yet though. He's fighting back. Sainz wants that win back. 5 laps of this race remaining now, and it's David Vasquez that leads. Sainz in second place, and they're squirming around all over the place. Sainz right in Vasquez wheel tracks. The two Ducatis, they sound absolutely great. The deep-throated roar of these machines, absolutely superb. Vasquez is out front. Sainz having to settle for second place, and look at that rear tyre there just protesting as he wound on the power out of that right-hander. And Sainz is hanging in there. Certainly Vasquez isn't able to disappear into the far distance. Sainz is clinging on, just hoping as they perhaps come up behind a few back markers that he'll have an opportunity to nip through in the event that Vasquez is balked at all. They cross the start and finish line with just 2 laps of this race remaining, and there are indeed a few back markers about to come into the equation now. It's still Vasquez that leads. It's still Sainz trailing in second place, but not trailing by very much, just a couple of bike lengths. And there was a twitch there from the leading Ducati. So Vasquez leads, Sainz in second place. No relation that I know of to Carlos Sainz, the former World Rally champion. Vasquez and Sainz makes a move up the inside. Will he get him? Sainz tries to go through. He doesn't quite get close enough, and the door firmly shut there by David Vasquez. Vasquez it is that leads. He's holding off Sainz all the way around this twisty Albacete circuit, which later in the year will host the penultimate round of the World Superbike Championship. Ducati leads. Ducati in second place, but Vasquez holding off Oscar Sainz for the lead. Tense last couple of laps of this third round of the European Open Superbike Championship. Yeah. Sainz will be just trying to figure out where his rival is just that little bit slower, where he can make his move, where he can nip through. The best place is at the end of this straight. If that back marker can come into the equation, can he? Nips out of the slipstream, Sainz, but he's not close enough, doesn't draw alongside. Oh, and only one of them go through. Now that could prove vital. 24 there is Richard DeFargo, in fact, from Great Britain aboard the Kawasaki. Well, I'm afraid he's in a slightly different race. He's well down in 12th position at the moment, which means he may well score a point or two. But anyway, he's in 12th at the moment. But still, Sainz is clinging on. You'd have thought that Vasquez would have been able to press home that advantage. But Sainz is right there again. Sainz on the tail. Can he make that last gasp move that will take him to victory? It's still David Vasquez at the moment. Vasquez on the Ducati, Sainz on the Ducati back. Oh, quite a long way back, about 20 seconds back. In fact, in third place is Bernard Hengeli. Alain Chauderet in fourth. Idalio Gavira in fifth place. Well, again, the back marker does make a bit of a problem there. But in the end, they both go through, and it is Vasquez that wins. Vasquez takes the checkered flag at the head of the field. Oscar Sainz has to settle for second place in third position, but as you can see how far back he is. Bernard Hengeli, poor old Bernard Hengeli, tries to lift the front wheel, but he doesn't quite make it. Well, there's jubilation for David Vasquez as he crosses the finish line, but that jubilation very soon turns sour as we see Alain Chauderet from Switzerland cross the line. Now the scrap for fourth place. Idalio Gavira grabs it from Jan-Olov Notting and Telmo Pereira. But the jubilation of David Vasquez soon turns to disappointment, because right after the race, some officials discover that all is not well with the motorcycle, and in fact David Vasquez is excluded from the results for that breach of the regulation. Oscar Sainz it is that wins, Bernard Hengeli second, and